Hey, what is up YouTube? This is the Merman Master coming at you guys from the Team Time Riders YouTube channel today, and oh my god, am I excited, guys. The ban list just dropped, and Nekroz of Unicore is back at 3. Oh my goodness, guys. I cannot even believe what this ban list has done for so many different decks, for Altergeist players, for Nekroz players, and for Ritual Beast players. Bringing all their cards back and all of that kind of stuff. We're going to see a brand new meta. It was a very small list, but the changes that it brought back were absolutely insane. You guys know I uploaded a Nekroz deck profile just yesterday with the changes, and today to see that Nekroz of Unicore has now come back to 3. I've had a build cooking up for quite a while that I was hoping I'd one day get to play, but I never thought that day would be today. So guys, without further ado, let's get into this profile. Brand new format Nekroz, guys. Here it is. First, starting things out right now, we have 3 copies of the one and only Nekroz of Unicore. We have been waiting for a long time for this card to come back to 3, guys, and it is finally here. This card is actually super amazing because it was one of the key factors of the stun-based strategy that Nekroz employed for a very long time. Basically, it locks down the effects. It's a continuous effect negation of all monsters who are special summoned from the extra deck. Super amazing card, and definitely one that is worth running in this deck. In addition, you can discard this card from your hand to the graveyard to basically add back any Nekroz card from your graveyard to your hand. Super amazing card, guys. I just can't even believe we're now at the format where it's at 3, and definitely have to run it in this deck. Also, you're going to see some other cards that I have, and Nekroz of Unicore coming back to 3 actually opens this deck up to some crazy cool combos that harken back to the old days. Just like with Nekroz of Unicore fetching from graveyard, we have to have the card that fetches from hand, and that is Nekroz of Bryanak. Discard this card from your hand to the grave to fetch any Nekroz card from your deck to the hand, and when it's on board, you can activate its effect to bounce any 2 extra deck monsters your opponent controls back to the extra deck. Very cool. Coming back as well, I know some people have cut down this number, but I still think it's perfect at 3, given what we are now in right now, a format where Max Power Nekroz is back, baby. Nekroz of Valkyrus at 3 copies. Super amazing card. Like, the searching level and all of that kind of stuff is awesome. But Nekroz of Valkyrus is basically your battle fader of the deck. Ditch it from your hand to the grave and banish a Nekroz card from your graveyard to negate and end the battle phase. And then when it's on the field, it is actually an extremely potent draw engine, where you draw you can tribute any 2 monsters from the field and or hand to draw 2 cards from your deck. So very strong card. Of course, 2 copies of Nekroz of Klausulus. Sometimes you use its on-field effect to negate the effect of an opponent's monster and put its attack power to 0, but you mostly are ditching this card to fetch your Nekroz monsters from your Nekroz spell and traps from your deck. Very good card. And now, up from 1 copy, guys, is 2 copies of the one and only Nekroz of Trishula, one of your main playmakers of this deck. It's a non-target banish from hand, field, and graveyard, guys. Super amazing. Definitely worth it. And then you can also discard this card from your hand to the graveyard to protect a monster who gets targeted, which is very good. We've got 1 copy of Nekroz of Gungnir in this deck. Very good popping effect that it has, and can be activated during either player's turn, as well as it being able to be discarded, and then you can target any Nekroz, even a non-ritual monster, and have it not be destroyed by battle or card effect during the turn. Final Nekroz ritual monster is a single copy of Nekroz of Decisive Armor. So glad to have it back. In this deck as well, Nekroz of Decisive Armor discards from hand to grave to increase the attack of a Nekroz monster by 1,000 points, kind of like a little honest effect. And then when it's on board, you can, once per turn, banish a face-down set card that your opponent controls and destroy it and banish it. It's also the highest attack Nekroz of all of them. Now, guys, since Unicore is back, We're bringing them back up to max power numbers. That's with 3 Manju and 3 Senju. Your ritual monsters get you to ritual spells, get you to everything that you need in this deck. And so having Manju and Senju is extremely important to be able to search out whatever you need when you need it. And they're also the level 4 monsters, so I'm going to show you some interesting tech plays that I have coming up. Of course, now that Unicore is also at 3, your searching's a little bit better, so you don't actually need to run 3 Shuret in the deck, and you can get by with 2. I'm doing 2 Shuret and 1 reinforcements of the army to get the searches, but Shuret is actually amazing because it counts as 1 whole tribute for a ritual summon. So think like Ritual Raven, but for any Nekroz monster. Doesn't matter. Whether you banish it from hand, tribute it for... whether you tribute it from hand or field or banish it from your graveyard, no matter what, it will always count as 1 Nekroz tribute summon monster. Next is the final tech card of the deck, and that's Dance Princess of the Nekroz. Great for fetching Nekroz back, as well as for making sure that your Nekroz effects go off without anyone activating cards and effects in response. I know Orchist are coming back huge in this format thanks to Gearsu. As well as a lot of decks packing some crazy negation and stuff like that. And if you want to lock down your opponent's board, it is imperative that your Nekroz cards go off without interruption. And Dance Princess really helps to accomplish that. That's it for the monsters. Moving on to the spells. Wouldn't be a Nekroz deck without 3 copies of Preparation of Rites. Searches any level 6 or level 7 or lower ritual monster from your deck to your hand, pretty much almost your entire deck, as well as allowing you to add a ritual spell card from your graveyard to your hand if you have one in there. Super big consistency booster. When Nekroz first came out, this card was put to 1, but it's now back. Now, each of the Nekroz ritual spells, we've got 2 copies of Cycle, 2 copies of Nekroz Mirror, and finally 2 copies of Nekroz Kaleidoscope. These cards are really, really amazing. Special shout out, of course, to Cycle, which... So these cards are really amazing. A special shout out, of course, to Nekroz Cycle, which basically allows you to tribute monsters from your hand and field to special summon a Nekroz monster from your grave. Nekroz Mirror is kind of like a Nekroz Miracle Fusion in a way. You banish the materials and special summon it from your hand. Banish the materials from your graveyard or field and special summon it from the hand. And then Nekroz Kaleidoscope allows you to send things like this now from the extra deck to the graveyard to special summon more ritual monsters. Really, really, really awesome. Next spell card we've got in the deck right now is 1 copy of Rhoda, as I mentioned earlier, for those Shuret plays. Very, very strong play, and your deck thinning is extremely important in this deck, so we've also got a singular copy of Upstart Goblin to help with the consistency. Now moving on to the last couple of cards in the deck, we are running 1 each of Book of Moon and Book of Eclipse with Trishula coming back. It's very important to try and set some of your opponent's cards that, for instance, in Salamangrates, where they can activate that spell card. And this is like non-targeting, non-destruction, setting up things. Some people might say that you can replace these with like evenly matches and stuff if you want, but it's entirely up to what your personal preference is. I kind of like running Book of Moon because it was in my max power deck and it recently came off the list, and so Book of Moon and Book of Eclipse are in here for that reason and pretty much that reason only. 1 copy of Raigeki, pretty self-explanatory. And finally, here's a tech card, a single copy of Double or Nothing. That's right, guys. Now that Unicore is back, that means that we can send the Herald of the Arclight and make rank 4s in this deck a lot easier. The operative rank 4 that everyone used to run in full power Nekroz was the one and only Lavalval Chain. But now, given the new format that we're in, we can now use Double or Nothing to make Utopia and Utopia Double, which is just absolutely awesome. Will help us steal games, and especially because Unicore is very good at locking down your opponent's extra deck monsters, Double or Nothing can come in and swing over like a low attack monster your opponent controls for game. Final card we've got in this deck is a singular copy of Infinite Impermanence. As I mentioned, the last couple of spells in this deck, as well as the trap lineup, can be subject for change. And I figure that like even if you replace some of them with like evenlies and other things like that, you know, you're still going to have really great ratios and just be able to negate stuff and go second and just end your opponent that way. All right, extra deck is up next. First and foremost, we have the 3 copies of Herald of the Arclight. This is the main card that you're going to be sending off of Nekroz of Kaleidoscope to now special summon Nekroz of Unicore, guys. Herald of the Arclight, when it gets sent to the grave, allows you to add any ritual monster or ritual spell card from your deck to your hand. Of course, accompanying alongside Herald of the Arclight is going to be 1 copy of Shooting Quasar Dragon. Level 12 monster, also great with Kaleidoscope. You can flip around like the different levels of the extra deck monsters you send. Some people like to put in some people may put in some of the other. Of course, guys, Quasar is super great for using it alongside of the Nekroz of Kaleidoscope, especially for summoning forth multiple different levels of monsters that equal up to the level 12, although you can run anything in the deck. And alongside that, we have for a level 11 option, 1 copy of Star Eater, and possible level 10 option, something like Dragon Knight Draco Ikist. However, it could honestly be anything, guys. I leave it up to you, and you can have some fun with the extra deck when it comes to these kinds of cards. Next cards we're running in the deck, 1 copy of Daigusto Emerald. You can bump this to 2 if you want. Wouldn't be too out of place in this deck as well. Just helps you fetch back some stuff. Abyss Dweller, great first turn play, especially if you know what you're facing against. 1 copy of Gaga Cowboy. A single copy of Karen Gorgon, Anti-Luminescent Knight. And finally, one of my tech cards in here is actually number 85, Crazy Box. This is a personal tech card. I actually do like to run this card alongside of Nekroz of Unicore, simply because you can use Crazy Box and it will become a rank 4 3000 attack beater, which is kind of cool, especially if you do need to go for that OTK. And speaking of OTK, guys, one of the last cards in this deck that I want to reveal is the Utopia Double Package. And for those of you guys who know of the Utopia Double Package, it's honestly awesome. And basically, now since we can make rank 4s in this deck, guys, summon out the Utopia Double, search out your Double or Nothing, go into a 5k Utopia, and just swing for game. Honestly, freaking incredible. So guys, that's going to do it for our Nekroz deck profile. I'm so excited to now be able to play this deck at full and max power again. Can't tell you how long I've been waiting for this day, and it's really awesome that it is now finally here. So guys, let me know what you thought of this deck profile in the comments section below, and I'll look forward to bringing you more awesome content as we find out more. But guys, thank you so much for watching, and this has been the Mermail Master with the Team Time Riders Yugi tube channel, and I'm signing out. Catch you guys next time. Peace.